time lag. I suppose it will take some time to go through all the forensic, evidence.
To get out in front of this and try to persuade Netflix not to come forward with it. I think it's an interesting argument because what they're claiming is, Curtis Jackson, aka 50 Cent, has had a long-standing, animosity against Diddy and sort of vice versa. And because he's at the helm, they're arguing this can't be taken seriously. This should sort of be seen as propaganda. And one of the things that Netflix hit back with was, yes, he's the executive producer. He doesn't necessarily have creative control. And that's something we
Breaking news just dropped, and it's wild. Diddy's twin daughters have been arrested, and this is the scandal everyone's whispering about behind closed doors. You won't believe how fast this story's moving. It's a messy mix of unchecked privilege, financial chaos, and a family empire starting to crumble right in front of us. Jesse and Delilah Combs, just 17, the heirs to a once mighty legacy, were taken into custody this week. Their names are now everywhere, not for modeling gigs or school milestones, but for allegations showing just how much their dad's legal drama has left them drifting in a world of excess and danger. This isn't another celeb slip-up. No, it's a collision of generational wealth, absent parenting, and reckless choices that only surface when nobody's watching. And right now, the courts are watching closer than anyone else.
Already know I gotta get your take on it, man. Diddy, he got 50 months in prison. How you feeling about it, man?
Well, since this is going to be my last Art of the Dialogue interview, and the Diddy trial and the Diddy saga is over, like the Gene Deal story ain't big as the Diddy trial.
We've learned the twins, born into fame as the daughters of Sean Diddy Combs and the late Kim Porter, were released on bail almost as fast as they were taken into custody. But don't get it twisted, this isn't a story of privilege keeping them out of trouble. Sources close to the situation say the financial pressure is very real. Rumors are swirling that these teens have been blowing through millions every month, funding a life full of private jets, designer halls, and exclusive LA nightclub appearances. Meanwhile, their father sits behind bars, his accounts frozen, and his empire crumbling around him. The irony is brutal. Diddy, once the king of excess, now can't even cover bail for his own kids without scraping together the remnants of his fortune. The question isn't just how they got here, it's how long their luck can last. Bail is one thing, a judge's final ruling is another. Without Diddy's influence hanging over the system, the twins may soon face the consequences without a safety net. Their arrest hits just months after Diddy's 50-month prison sentence, handed down following his conviction on solicitation-related charges, a case that exposed the darker side of his mogul life. The twins were at his side in court, making emotional pleas to the judge, voices trembling as they called him their rock. Jesse's words still ring out. He is still our dad, and we still need him present in our lives. But now, with their father behind bars until 2028, the girls are forced to navigate a world he no longer controls. Insiders say their recent actions show a mix of defiance and desperation, a reaction to losing both their mother in 2018 and their father so abruptly. One source summed it up bluntly. They went from having a parent in every room to having nobody at all. And in that vacuum, the cash kept flowing until it didn't. Their rapid spiral wasn't subtle. Their joint Instagram, once filled with matching outfits and red carpet snaps, turned into a real-time feed of late-night escapades and flashy indulgence. There were the Range Rovers for their Sweet 16, Dolce & Gabbana runway appearances in Miami, and front-row Fashion Week seats. But behind the glitz, former insiders say the twins are struggling to balance their public image with private chaos.
Moment, it just felt like, what? Like, is this fun for him? Is this a test?
Their high school graduation in May 2025 should have been a fresh start. Instead, it became the kickoff to a downward spiral. By summer, they had launched a fashion brand, a move insiders say was more about distraction than actual business. They were tossing money at this image of independence, a close family friend revealed. But no one was there to show them what independence really looks like. Then came the parties, private, invitation-only events where the guest list allegedly included adults far older and far more connected than two teens should be rubbing elbows with. And now, the legal fallout. What we know is scattered, but the timeline is brutal. Their father's trial wrapped up in October 2025, leaving them without guidance or the rules he once enforced. By December, their TikTok account, a platform that once showcased innocent daily vlogs, had turned into a chaotic stage of rebellion.
Because there's still such a big question mark in the air because, Curtis Jackson, aka 50 Cent, is one of the executive producers on the series. Him, the director, Netflix in general, is not saying where they got this footage, only that it was obtained legally. Diddy's side is saying this is coming from a videographer I hired. I know we'll get into the cease and desist. One of the arguments they make is, this is subject to NDAs or agreements that the videographer had signed with Diddy because he was, employed by Diddy.
A recent post meant to show off their morning routine quickly backfired when commenters flooded the page with memes tied to 50 Cent's explosive Netflix documentary, Sean Combs: The Reckoning. The backlash got so intense that they shut down comments entirely. And of course, that only sparked more speculation about what they might be hiding. Nothing is cute about adults harassing teenagers, one user fired back. But others noticed a darker trend. The twins' sudden online silence lined up with their father's legal team scrambling to block footage from the docuseries, footage that allegedly showed Diddy himself orchestrating a PR campaign in the days leading up to his arrest. The implication? The twins were caught in the middle. Every post, every move was analyzed as if they were part of their father's mess. Their modeling careers, once full of promise, now feel like a snapshot of a past life.
The whole lot to a whole lot of people. And now he's paying for it. So all these cats, I guess y'all get y'all visitation rights. Some of y'all can get y'all conjugal visits right with them.
In 2023, they were strutting for LA during Miami Swim Week, confidence radiating every step. But by 2025, with Diddy's conviction dominating headlines, the offers stopped coming. No brand wants to touch them right now, a modeling agent admitted off the record. They're toxic by association. Their last big appearance, their father's birthday, is in November, and an Instagram post calls him the best dad. Reading it now, it feels almost like a eulogy, because the truth is, Diddy isn't just gone. He's financially strapped. His empire, once worth hundreds of millions of dollars, is buried under lawsuits, with over 70 civil cases still pending. Bad Boy Records is barely a shadow of his former glory. Revolt TV is on life support. And the twins, used to a world where money flowed freely, are now staring at the harsh reality of legal fees, settlements, and keeping Diddy's name from sinking further. Then there's the matter of his enemies. 50 Cent's documentary didn't just go after Diddy, it exposed his family's weak points. Their TikTok meltdown wasn't about them, it was about their dad's sins. Adults harassing teens became the rallying cry, but the damage was done. Posts were deleted, they went silent, and sources say they pulled back into a tight, insular circle. That circle, we're told, had people with their own legal baggage, connections that help explain how two 17-year-olds ended up in handcuffs. They trusted the wrong people, a family insider said, and those people had agendas. The financial strain, that's the elephant in the room.
Apparently, Diddy's knee has been bothering him recently, so he reported it. At some point, it was decided that he needed medical care outside of the jail, so he was taken to a...
Diddy's legal team has been hemorrhaging money for over a year, with settlements and defense costs reportedly topping 8 figures. His prison commissary account, rumored to be funded by the scraps of his liquid assets, leaving almost nothing for his daughter's splurges. They were spending like the trust fund was endless, a financial advisor tied to the estate revealed. But that well ran dry fast. Their arrest isn't just a legal headache, it's a financial reality check. Bail got posted, but the long-term outlook? Brutal. If the charges stick, legal fees alone could wipe out whatever remains of the family fortune. And with Diddy locked up for years, the twins are fending for themselves. Their mother's absence looms over the whole story. Kim Porter, who raised them with a mix of discipline and love, passed in 2018, leaving a gap no money could fill. Kim would have never let it get this far, a family friend insisted. She kept them grounded. Without her, and with Diddy wrapped up in his own battles, the twins are forced to navigate fame, grief, and now the legal system without guidance. Their mom's presence was clear in their early years: cheerleading wins, matching outfits, that sisterly bond that felt like a tribute to her. But as they got older, that bond became their lifeline in a storm neither of them was ready to face.
He has been for months now, but last week he was taken to the hospital. According to reports from the New York Post, Diddy was transported from MDC in the cover of darkness at about 10 p.m. on January 30th. He was taken to a Brooklyn hospital for an MRI after reporting issues with his knee.
The arrest itself is still wrapped in mystery. Officials haven't released specifics, but insiders hint it stems from an incident at a private LA residence, allegedly involving substances and underage guests. It's exactly the type of situation that usually gets buried for wealthy kids, a legal analyst pointed out. But when your last name is Combs and your father is headline news for all the wrong reasons, the luxury of doubt disappears. Bail gives them a reprieve, but the clock is relentless. Prosecutors, we've learned, are treating this as a high-profile example, a chance to show that Diddy's name won't protect his family from consequences. Meanwhile, the twin siblings, Quincy, Christian, and the youngest, Love, have stayed mostly in the shadows. Quincy, just 5 months older than the twins, used to be their closest ally. Quote, "We always have a support system in each other," Delilah told B Magazine in 2023. But since their father's conviction, that bond is weakened. Quincy, now 24, has stepped back from the family chaos, focusing on his own path. Christian, 22, has been spotted in New York, far from the LA scene where his sisters stumbled. And little Love, still a toddler, is being raised by a nanny, her future as uncertain as the rest. The Combs clan, once a tight-knit dynasty, is cracking under the strain of scandal. Their father's legal team is stretched to the limit.
So what they're asking for is this. They are saying, look, he was found not guilty on all the serious charges: racketeering, fraud, force, coercion, all of those found not guilty. He wasn't charged with, but it was part of the force issue. The only thing he's left with is the Mann Act, which is taking across state lines and paying them.
The same attorneys handling his appeals can't dedicate the time needed for the twins' case, leaving them stuck with second-tier representation. Diddy's legal team is in survival mode, a source revealed. They're triaging, and the twins simply aren't the priority. That leaves Jesse and Delilah up against a system with zero patience for privilege rebellion. Their best shot is a plea deal that keeps them out of juvenile detention, but even that comes with conditions. The twins' arrest isn't just a tabloid story, it's a warning sign of a family in free fall. Diddy's conviction didn't just end his career, it shook the entire dynasty. His mother, Janice Combs, once a grounding presence, is now tangled in her own controversies, including claims she helped mismanage Bad Boy Entertainment. Her statement defending her son last year, "My son is not the monster they have painted him to be," now reads like a desperate cry from a grandmother watching her granddaughter's legacy crumble. With her health reportedly declining, she can't step in, and Diddy, stuck in Fort Dix, can only watch as his daughters face consequences he has no power to soften. Their modeling contracts are effectively frozen.
Responsible for Diddy's day-to-day life, so he is able to provide a lot of information about what that life was like. He goes into detail on extensive.
Their fashion brand is on pause. Their social media, once a goldmine for clout and cash, has turned toxic. They're radioactive right now. The modeling agent confirmed no one wants to touch them. Their only remaining asset is their name, and even that's tainted. The Combs twins, who once strutted runways like they were destined for a crown, are now learning the brutal truth. Fame without guidance is a fast track to chaos. But don't get it twisted. This arrest isn't the final chapter. Their legal mess is just scratching the surface. Behind closed doors, former bad boy insiders are spilling about the wild parties at Diddy's LA estate, the alleged escapades that fueled his trial, and the young women reportedly caught up in that scene. The twins weren't mere spectators. A source close to the inner circle hinted they may know more than they're admitting. And if the prosecutors dig deep, what comes out could change everything we thought we knew. Then there's the looming question of what's left of Diddy's fortune.
If the
In
judge,
October, right.
In October, October 3rd, if the judge denies bail, then Trump is going to make a decision possibly immediately thereafter.
Most likely, the judge is going to, based
I don't know.
on previous decisions, it feels like the judge is going to.
His Miami waterfront mansion, the New York penthouse, his entire fleet of exotic cars, all now on the chopping block. Everything's in play, a financial insider told us. And if the twins are tied to any of it, they could lose everything. Their arrest may have lit the fuse, but the inferno is just starting. And don't sleep on the shadow of the documentaries. Sean Combs' The Reckoning didn't just air Diddy's alleged wrongs, it painted the family as complicit in silence. The twins' brief appearances, seemingly innocent or under new scrutiny. They were there. Sources say they saw things, and if they speak, it could end Diddy. The question isn't if they'll be pressured, it's when. Their father's legal team is already bracing for impact. If the twins flip, it's game over, a lawyer close to the case admitted. They're the last line of defense, but with their own futures hanging in the balance, loyalty may not hold. They are teenagers, the lawyer added. Scared people talk. The next court date hasn't been set, but the stakes couldn't be higher. This isn't a simple night gone wrong. It's the future of the Combs name. Diddy built his empire on control, on shaping narratives and silencing critics, but locked up, that power is limited. His daughters, raised in the spotlight but never schooled on its dangers, are now the weakest link in his armor. We've seen this before, the famous child spiraling, the parent powerless, the public watching every move. But the Combs twins aren't just famous kids, they're the last heirs of a dynasty, the final chapter in a story that began with Diddy's rise and could end in total collapse. Their arrest isn't an isolated event, it's a domino effect, and the next one to fall might be Diddy himself. For now, the twins are out on bail, but the walls are closing in.
Real for a second. There are a lot of lawyers who call this legal extortion, and that this is the way the legal system works, which is you threaten somebody with reputational harm, and in this case, it's interesting that Jay-Z, who's very wealthy, said it would be financial.
Their father's enemies are closing in, the courts are watching, and somewhere in the background, 50 Cent is grinning, knowing his documentary didn't just take down a mogul, it set the stage for a family implosion. The only question now is just how far they'll fall before anyone intervenes, if anyone does at all. But the most shocking revelations may still be ahead. Sources say the twins' arrest isn't a one-off, it's part of a larger pattern stretching back years. They weren't just spectators in Diddy's world. A former bad boy insider claimed they were active participants. If prosecutors dig into their connections, who they partied with, where the money came from, what they witnessed, the fallout could eclipse their current legal troubles. They know things, the source said, and if they start talking, it's over for Diddy. The question isn't if they'll be pressured, it's when. Their father's enemies are watching every move. 50 Cent's documentary didn't just reveal Diddy's alleged misdeeds, it put a target on the family. The twins' appearances in the film, once considered innocent, are now being dissected for hidden clues. They were there. A source close to production confirmed they saw things, and if the twins flip, it's game over. Diddy's legal team is bracing for the worst, knowing his daughters could be the weakest link in his defense. As the scandals stack up and Diddy's shield fades, one fact stands out. This empire is crumbling, and the next revelation could shatter it completely. For now, the twins are out on bail, but the walls are tightening. Their father's enemies are circling. The legal system is waiting. And somewhere in the shadows, 50 Cent is smiling, knowing the documentary didn't just take down a mogul, it paved the way for a family collapse. So here's the question on everyone's mind. How far will the Combs twins fall before anyone catches them? And more importantly, who's left to break their fall? Stay tuned, because this story is far from over. And trust us, you won't want to miss what happens next. Until then, stay sharp, stay curious, and remember, when empires crumble, the fallout is always messier than it looks. We'll see you in the next one.